Still talking about functions. And today we're going to look at some different ways that functions are represented. How you can take one function and represent it in several different ways. When you're looking at a problem like this, they've got the function up here at the top that's the function in question here. And then they're giving you different representations down here on the answers. And you need to decide which one, actually in this one, which one is not a correct representation of the function. So on the test, I would always circle that not, so you always remember you're looking for the one that's not. You're not looking for one that is the same as this. So there's 4 answers here. How many of these answers are going to be correct representations of this function?
3.
3. Okay. So there's going to be 3 that are and 1 that is not. Okay. So on answer A, basically what they've done is graph these 4 ordered pairs that are up here. -1, -1, and so on. And it looks like that one does match up. So answer A, we can actually rule it out. Since it's true, then it's not the right answer. So we can rule out A. Answer B, x is a number between 0 and -5. Is that true? So you look at your x values up here. Where are the x values in an ordered pair?
Second
The other one, the first one. Okay, because remember it's always x comma y. So your first value is the x value. So on answer B, x is a number between 0 and -5. And so we've got -1, -2, -3, -4. So that's true.
I thought it was C because those are points instead of negative signs.
Well, let's go ahead and look at this. Y is equal to the negative of x. Is that true? Is y equal to the negative of x on these? What do you think? Let's look at that real quick. Okay, let's just take this first ordered pair here. What is x equal to?
-1.
-1. Okay, what is y equal to?
-1.
It's also -1. Is y equal to the negative of x? Okay, what they're saying is that y is equal to the negative of whatever x is. And what is x? -1. Okay, now what is this? What's the negative of -x?
It's negative because it's in parentheses, right?
This is negative, but then we're taking the negative of that, which makes it, what are 2 negatives?
Positive.
Positive. Okay. Remember, 2 negatives makes a positive, so the negative of x, which is also negative, would have to be positive, and that's not what we have here. Y is not positive, so what do you think about answer B?
Is this the one that doesn't agree?
That's right. Since it's the one that's not, looks like answer B may be correct. Let's go ahead and check the others. This is called mapping a function, and it's the same thing as this. Basically, it's taking the x's and seeing which y correlates to that x. Okay, -1, -1, -2, so on. They all match up, so that is a correct representation. So that's not the right answer. And then down here you've got y equals x. Is that true?
Yes.
Y is equal to x on every one of those, isn't it? and the domain is -1 through -4. Y'all remember what the domain means? It's the set of what? Domain and range. The domain is the set of all x values. It's the first one. And the range is the set of all y values. So this one is true. Y equals x, and the domain is -1, -2, -3, -4. So since it's true, then it's not the answer. So it is answer B. Go ahead and look at number 2. Same type of problem. A lot of these problems that we're doing, you're going to see something very similar to these on the tax test. Now these may be on the easy side of the tax, but I will tell you, if you can get the easy ones on the tax, you're going to pass it. Okay? You're not going to get all of them right, but just make sure you're getting the easy ones.
I'm sorry to interrupt. It's Lisa Lella, or Selena Ramirez, or Chelsea Shepherd is here. Would you come to the council before you leave today? Thank you.
Number 2, we can definitely rule out A,
And definitely rule out D.
definitely rule out D.
And you'd have to rule out B because C doesn't have the right points.
That's right. C, if you just look at the points, they don't match up with that, so you can rule out, C is not a correct representation, so that's the one that is the correct answer. Answer B, y equals -4x, that's true, and the domain is 1, 2, 3, 4. So, okay. These are kind of the same. Go ahead and rule out what you can. Can we rule out A on number 1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because those match up exactly, so we can rule that out. Again, it's which is not a correct representation. What about B? You have to look pretty closely on this graph, but
You can rule out C.
what do y'all think about B? Did you rule it out? 2, 4, 4, 8, 6, 12.
I think it's on the positive side as well, so you can rule that out.
Yeah, I think you can rule out B.
And you can rule out C as well, because X is even or less than 10.
X is even. Is it always even, less than 10?
Yeah.
Good.
And y is twice of x.
Y is twice x.
So that'd be d.
That's true. So the D says y equals 1/2 x, and that's not true. Y is actually 2 times x. So answer D is the answer. It's the one that's not a correct representation of this function. Okay, number 2. Answer A. Look at it closely. Now on this, there's something about these graphs I don't like. It's hard to kind of read the numbers, but if you'll notice where your bold lines are, remember the bold lines are the axes. So your y-axis is this bold line that's going vertically, and the x-axis is this one. So count from there when you're counting your points. If you look at your function 2, 1, where's that point going to be?
It's going to go up 2 and over 1.
Careful. Which way do you go first? 2, 1.
You go over first.
Go over first. Remember, it's x, comma,
Well, a is small
y.
because you go over 2 and up 1. There's no dot.
Right. So you would go over 2, up 1. It should be right there. So that's got to be the right answer, because that's the one that's not. Okay.
Are you feeling better today? Yeah? Good. Did your mom happen to write you a note by chance?
Yeah, she forgot.
You can bring that tomorrow.
Okay.
That'd be fine. Okay? Yeah, and all I do with them is with a note, I'm able to change the absence from unexcused to excused. That way, truancy doesn't mess with you guys, okay? And that's what I try to do for everybody. Somewhere in here, I thought I had moved it. I gotta find it. Yeah, you blended in. Hannah, right? What I'm writing down is just that I talked to you and asked you for a minute. Okay, that's all I did, that way I don't forget who I talked to and how I had it. See, I don't have anything. So I wrote asked 123, asked 123, received a note, asked, That way I'm not harassing you after I've already talked. Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. You haven't seen Dalton London, have you?
I tried to see him today.
Okay, well, I know he was here earlier. I think he put on his invisibility cloak and kind of just sleuthed on out, you know? But we're not sure.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, now look at this problem. Think about what's happening here. It says Letitia took $15 to the arcade. The cost of playing her favorite game is 50 cents. Which table best describes M? And M here is the amount of money she has left after playing G games. Okay. Now, right off,
You can go ahead and take the 50, divide that by the 50, go to a 30 games for $15, just the way you can mark it out for that way if you're going for a shortcut.
okay. Okay. But what about, look at your answers here, and the number of games they're talking about. They're starting with 0 games. Now, when she's played 0 games, how much money is she going to have left? She's going to have 15. So what can you rule out? You rule out C. Okay. What about after 1 game? How much money will she have left?
She'll have 1350, so you can rule out D.
She'll have $14.50 after 1 game. Now D doesn't have 1 game, so
A.
you can rule out A right here. And B and D both don't have 1. So after 2 games, she should have 14 left. Both of those
D.
have that. After 4, 13. Okay, yeah, after After 5,
It leaves 1220, but you can't have a 20 in
wouldn't be 1220, would it? It would be 1250.
there. Yeah.
So that's gotta be it. Or that's, we can rule it out, I'm sorry. So answer B should be right. After 4 games, $13 left. After 6, 12, and after 8, 11. You should be careful on a question like this because they're gonna change up the X values here, or the G values in this case. Some of them start at 0, this one skips 3, this one skips 2, so just be careful what they're giving you there. Okay, answer B. Go ahead and look at 2, it's kind of the same type of question. By the way, if any of you get commended on the tax test, I'm going to do something for you. I'm not sure what. Maybe you get a certificate or something. Got it? Good. So number 2, when she first starts at 0, what should it be? 240, because talking about the number of pages she has left to read after n nights of reading. At day 1, after 1 night, she should have how many left?
220.
220. Both of those have that. These don't have, actually, answer D. What can we do about answer D?
You can mark it off because on 2 days it still has 220, but
Good.
it's supposed to be on 200.
Yeah, because it says 1 with 240, so we can rule that one out. After 2 days, we should be at 200, that's right. Answer B, so rule that out. And after 3 days, what about A here?
A has 190.
190, and it should be
You can't have a non-number.
good. It should be 180. Okay. All right. Okay, it says Oscar works in the sales department. He calculates his salary, f of x, based on his sales numbers for the month according to this function. First of all, f of x, what does that mean? Y'all seen that expression, f of x?
Means why.
It's like y, okay. It's the same thing as y. It's just a function. And in this function, it's his salary. Okay, so the salary is equal to this equation here, 2,000 plus 0.03x. Now, what's going on with the salary here? Y'all explain that to me. Why are there 2 parts to it? Why don't they just give a number for his salary?
Interest. Percents or something.
Percent of something. Okay. This is telling me that he makes $2,000 a month. Okay, no matter what. But this part tells me something else.
Like commission overtime, something like that.
Good. It's a commission based on X. And what is X here? It tells you.
X is greater than 100,000, or less than 100,000.
It actually doesn't tell you what X is. You have to kind of figure it out. What do you think X would be here? It says
His number of sales?
the number of his sales, okay? It's like a dollar amount of sales, okay? So whenever you figure out what his sales are for the month, then you take that number and you do what to it? X times 0.03. So you're taking 0.03 times the sales and you're adding that to the 2,000. Now look at the answers and tell me which one looks like that. Answer A is obviously wrong because it says he makes the same salary no matter what. What about this answer B? What is 3%? What's another way you can write 3%? You all remember?
30 over 100.
3 over 100.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one way. What's that as a decimal?
0.03.
0.03, good. And you think that 0.03 might have something to do with that up there? Probably does. And actually that is the answer. Because what's happening here is he's getting an additional, that's where that plus sign comes in. He's getting an additional 3% of his sales, that's the X, for any amount over 100,000. Now, what do you think is going on with the 100,000 number? Why would they have that in there? If you were a salesperson, why do you think they would have this stipulation? Your boss says, for X over 100,000, we're going to give you this additional.
Like a certain amount of sales product you've sold.
Right.
You
Right.
that amount of bring in.
So when that goes over 100,000, why would they say that? Why would?
That way it gets you to sell more things, gets
That-
you to bring more money.
That's right. It's kind of an incentive for the salesperson to sell more.
It's like entrepreneurship.
Whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's like an incentive. Okay. Go ahead and look at 2 and 3. Which one sounds right on number 2? Very similar to the number 1. Which one sounds right?
Sounds like A.
Sounds like A. I think so. It says $3 for each shipment. Okay, that's where that comes in. Plus an additional 5 cents.
For weights above 10 pounds.
Additional 5 cents per pound for weights above 10 pounds. Good. Same thing here. It sounds like this is a post office maybe, or FedEx or UPS. They're charging the customer this much just for sending a package. But then once they get over 10 pounds, they're charging them even a little extra. It's kind of to discourage them from sending real big packages. Because once you start doing that, it costs the post office a lot more money to ship that. So they want you to keep them fairly small if possible. So it's kind of the same thing as here, it's an incentive. Okay, so 2 is A. Now look at number 3, it's a little different. This person is buying seed for his farm. The price of the seed, f of x, is this function. Okay. Answer A says the same 232 for any amount of seeds. I think we can rule that out right off. So obviously there's more to it than that. So answer A is wrong. 252 for any amount of seeds less than 50. I don't know about that one. What I'm interested in here is this 20, 0.20. And which answers have the 0.20 in them? Answers C and D. So it's going to be one of those. Okay. Answer C says an additional 20 cents for any amount above 50. Answer D says $2.32 a pound for the first 50 and then 20 cents less per pound for all over 50. Which of those do you think it would be? Look at what they're doing here. It starts out at 232, but then what happens here? They're going to subtract something. Looks like they're going to subtract 20 cents for each pound that's over 50. That's what that x minus 50 means. Because if, let's say x was 70 pounds, what's 70 minus 50? 20. So that would be 20 right there. So it's 20 pounds above 50. And that 20 pounds you multiply by 20 cents, and that's what you take off from the price. So answer D is the answer. Even if you don't totally understand these, just try to use the little tricks like that to figure out the answers. Okay, we got a couple more to do and we'll be done. I'm going to need your calculator for this one. We did some like this yesterday. Remember, you see y equals, I'm going to put that in your calculator. Y equals x plus 1, and then you want to go to your table and see which of these matches what you see in the table. A good rule on these, when you're looking at the tables, look at some negative numbers, maybe -5 for x, and then go through, go to 0, and then go up to +5. Usually that's a pretty good rule to figure out which one of these is always correct. So you look at those x values and the corresponding y values. Okay, that's what your table should look like on number 1. And from that, you should see that answer B, the variable y, is always greater than x. Okay. Everybody got 3. Three is A.
190. Because I was great with mine.
This Thursday.
Yeah.
A good rule would be to look at your 5 and go down to see if it's true. It's greater than y. No, so that was wrong. See.
Okay. So the answer is B, C, A, C, C. Okay, got one more. This one's pretty short, not too hard. This is one more way they'll represent functions. Okay, which graph best represents the relationship between the vertical height of a golf ball and the distance traveled? You got to think about what's going to happen to a golf ball as the distance
Well, it can't be,
changes.
it can't be, C.
Can't be C because,
It starts way up high, it goes way low, it goes up high again.
good, it starts high, comes down.
Yeah, and it can't start from, it can't be D because it starts high as well.
Good, it starts high.
And it would have to be, it can't be B, because the fact that it never comes back down, it just keeps on going straight.
Good. B, it starts out right, but then
Yeah.
it keeps going, doesn't come down.
Yeah.
So A goes up, comes back down. Now, on number 2, y'all, before you start it, number 2, yesterday we talked about independent and dependent quantities or relationships. They will never put time on the y-axis like this. I think this is a misprint. I think they meant to put it on the x. It should be,
Oh, I've seen plenty of them like this.
yeah, but time should be down here instead of up here. Because remember, your x-axis is your independent variable. And time is always, what is it, independent or dependent? Independent. Because time goes on no matter what. So a lot of times you'll see functions that have time down here on the x-axis. And then you ask yourself, what's happening as time goes by? So as you move to the right, as time goes up, what's happening to the pages?
It's supposed to be decreasing.
It should be decreasing because the number of pages left to read, when they start out, it should be high and then it should go down. So what's the answer?
It has to be, D.
It has to be D. Okay? Start up here, and over time, the number of pages is going to go down until you're done reading the book. So the pages would be at 0. Okay? That's all today. Good. They're really not clear about what F is there. So we'll look at number 1 and probably number 3. Number 1, Sarah has a prepaid phone card worth $20. Every minute M she uses the phone, 10 cents is deducted from the phone card balance B. Which equation best describes B in terms of M? And when they ask you this right here, which equation best describes B, you know right away that your equation is going to look like this. B equals something. And if you notice, all your answers here start with B equals. Now, a good way to work these is to just start.
The equation signs.
Huh?
Look at the equation sign because it says it takes all 10 cents.
Right.
It can't be divide, add, multiply.
Very good.
Subtraction.
Very good. This is deducted from, that word right there means subtract, doesn't it? Boy, I can't draw. Now let's just start from the beginning. When she got this card, what's the balance on it?
$20.
$20. So if nothing else happens, she's going to have 20. But then you said she's going to do something.
Every minute she uses on the phone card, she's 10 cents off.
Good. Every minute, she's going to deduct 10 cents from the balance, B. How would you write that?
B equals 20 minus 0.8 cent M.
Good. 0.10. Okay. You start with 20, and you deduct 10 cents for every minute. So the answer is what? Which one? D. Good. Answer's D. Very good. Okay, skip 2. Let's go on to number 3. I think we've got time to do this one. Do it kind of the same way. Lynn sells lemonade, 25 cents a glass, G. If she began the day with $5.50, which equation could she use to determine the total T, the amount of money she has at the end of the day in terms of glasses, G? So notice on your answers again, they all start with T equals. Okay? And T is the total amount of money she has. Okay?
Let me see. Okay, she starts out $5.50. Each glass is 25 cents, which is 0.25 G.
Right?
And you can only go up. You can't multiply that or else you're charging more.
Right.
And you can't go down either. And you can't put in parentheses because 550 plus 0.25, and you need the G out of parentheses. All right.
Very good. She's going to start with 550, and then she's going to add, because she's making money with this lemonade stand. So the total amount of money that she has, she's going to add to it throughout the day. So it's going to be plus, she's going to add 25 cents for each glass. Okay, very good. One more. Actually, we're going to stop there. That's a good place to stop.